Welcome to Is It Covered, where we break down real stories and answer the big question, is it covered? Hosted by father and son duo Bruce and Brian Chapman of the J.D. Chapman Insurance Agency. This podcast will help you navigate the world of insurance with stories, tips, and answers that really matter. From personal to commercial coverage, we've got you covered. Now, let's get started.
Hello and welcome to another podcast of Is It Covered, sponsored by J.D. Chapman Agency with offices in Macedon and Canandaigua. Today, we're going to talk about ice dams, but before we do that, keep in mind that everything we talk about are not real specific claims, but generalizations. If you happen to have a claim, you definitely want to talk to your insurance agent or your company about that because everything is different. There's no, as we say oftentimes, whether it's covered or not, it depends.
Yes.
So make sure that you check with your agent to get the exact information for your policy, as again, because all policies are different. So, Brian, have you noticed it's been like uber cold out and we've actually had quite a bit of snow, more than normal?
Absolutely. My beard and my mustache have froze more than they have in the past 2 years.
Mine froze right off. So, that leads to ice dams. And I drive around, I see more and more ice dams on houses. Tell us a little bit about ice dams.
Yeah, no, this is really timely. Actually, I just got off the phone with one of our insureds talking about ice dams with them. So just so everybody knows exactly what an ice dam is typically when you see there's been a lot of snow and it gets really cold and that snow kind of melts on the roof and it goes towards the edge of the gutters and the edge of the roof's colder, so it freezes and it does that over and over and it builds to what looks like a dam, and you see those giant icicles kind of hanging off the side of the house.
And a lot of that is caused by inadequate insulation so that the heat's coming up through the house itself.
Exactly.
So a lot of times on newer homes that have a lot of great insulation, you won't see them so much. So it's oftentimes older homes where you see that.
Absolutely. And so the other day my home was built in 1860 and I drove in from work and I looked up and I said, oh, damn, I got an ice dam. I mean, that thing was built right up.
Yeah.
So here's kind of a typical scenario on what happens with insurance and claims related to ice dams. So typically, what happens is somebody sees that ice starting to build up, and if something's not done about it, they're inside and they see these massive 12-foot or these really long icicles happening. And then all of a sudden they look up and they say, "Oh, my roof, my ceiling looks a little squishy."
Yeah, water coming through.
Oh, is that water stains coming down my drywall? And before you know it, that ice dam has caused water to come into your home, to damage the drywall, to damage maybe even the carpets or flooring,
yeah.
And certainly the roof and soffit itself.
It can be ugly.
Yeah, it absolutely can be. And if not taken care of, it can lead to, some bigger issues internally in the home.
Absolutely.
So let's say that I do have an ice dam, right? And I look up and maybe even my ceiling falls in or something.
Yeah.
How does insurance typically respond to something like that? Is that a covered loss?
So most generally, that's going to be covered. But often, like we say, it depends. It depends on what kind of policy you have and whether you have like a 1 or HO1, 2, or 3. Mm-hmm. Most people don't have a basic policy. But what happens is the damage that it causes on the inside of the home is covered.
Right.
Most generally. Again, you want to check. But the cause of the ice dam, so the preventative measure, is not necessarily going to be covered. So the insurance company's not going to pay to have your house all redone to prevent a future ice dam. That's going to be on you.
Right.
But the damage that it causes would be covered on that.
Gotcha. Okay.
You definitely want to get that fixed because if you go to switch insurance and you haven't fixed that, that could be a real problem.
Absolutely. There can be some existing damage and stuff in the home.
Yeah. And you want to get on that right away so you don't have mold. And again, how mold with insurance that's a real tricky thing. And if you have like a leaking situation and it leads to mold over a long period of time and you don't do anything about it, there's no insurance claim for that.
No, absolutely. So what I'm hearing then, and one of the more popular questions that I've been fielding lately is, will my insurance just pay to remove the ice dam itself? And I'm hearing probably not, because that's a preventative measure that's on the homeowner.
Agreed. Yep.
Gotcha.
Agreed. Yep.
But
yep.
let's say it starts to damage the inside of my house and I have some more extensive damage there. Then we might be talking more of a claim where the insurance would kick in to cover the internal damage to the home.
I agree. Yeah, absolutely. That would be the case on that for
Gotcha.
sure. It's pretty cut and dry. There's not, I mean, there's generally we see a bunch of these claims. It's essentially the damage that it does to the home,
Right.
Not necessarily what caused the damage.
And we see these claims on personal homes. We see them on commercial buildings.
Yep.
It's not just limited to someone's, personal house.
No, not at
It
all.
happens on commercial buildings as well.
Definitely. Yep.
One thing that I would suggest people don't do is probably try to climb up on their roof and remove these ice dams because that could lead to not only further injury, but, some serious issues.
Well, actually, let's say that you did do that. You climbed up on your roof and you did that yourself and you fell off. Your medical expenses are not going to be covered by your homeowners.
Gotcha.
So you're better off getting a professional to do that. Now, you can, when you start to see those things, get a roof rake. You can do that from the ground. Hopefully it's not up too high. You can start to rake some of the snow and everything that's
Right.
starting to cause that. I don't know that it's going to prevent it completely, but it might lessen the damage. And I mean, you see people throwing salt up there. I don't know that that's necessarily a good idea. I don't think the roofers would like me to say that.
Yeah. Also, some other preventative measures that you see is people sometimes have those heated coils right
Yes.
around the edge.
Yep.
I was informed that there's also some form of like hockey puck type stuff that you can put inside the gutters.
Oh, I
that
never
helps
knew that.
To keep the water from freezing and backing
Yeah,
up. So
yeah.
as we always say, it's worth taking the $1,000 deductible that you have and putting it into some preventative measures on your home.
100%. Now, I always wonder about those heat tape or the heat things. I mean, they seem to be pretty safe. You don't see a lot of fires, but I don't know. I'm always a little leery about electricity up there melting things.
Electricity and water typically don't mix well.
No. Hey, and with electric rates these days, that could be pretty expensive.
Yeah, absolutely. But the moral of the story is there's some options out there to further prevent or to prevent completely ice damming.
It's worth getting a professional roofer to determine whether, how to fix that.
Right. So in the scenario of I have an ice dam, it causes damage to the inside of my house. Is it covered?
In that case, I would say that it is covered.
Oh, awesome.
With caveats, so maybe.
It depends. Again, that's why
It
we
depends.
suggest that you talk to your agent and make sure that you've got the right policies in place for your home.
Absolutely.
Well, that wraps up another episode of Is It Covered by JD Chapman. We would love to hear from you guys. If you have any questions about a claim that maybe you've gone through or maybe a possible scenario, please email those to me, Brian at jdchapmaninc.com.
Perfect. See you next time.
Thanks for listening to the Is It Covered podcast. To learn more about how JD Chapman can assist you with all your insurance needs, please visit our website at jdchapmaninc.com or call us at 315-986-4062. JD Chapman, we've got you covered. This podcast provides general information only. It does not offer or bind insurance coverage. Coverage cannot be changed or confirmed through this podcast, email, voicemail, or fax. Insurance only takes effect once confirmed by a licensed agent. For specific coverage details, please call us at 315-986-4062. All coverages are subject to the terms, conditions, and exclusions of the issued policy, which may vary by state. This podcast does not provide legal, tax, or financial advice. Please consult a professional for those needs. Links to other sites are provided for convenience. We don't control or endorse their content. Any claims, scenarios discussed are hypothetical. Coverage decisions depend on the specifics of each case.